I believe that Dwayne Haskins, when it comes down to it, will have a better career than Daniel Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth Podcast. I'm Anish Gupta.
I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Shrikar Rajendran.
So today we are back again with the record predictions, and this time we're going to be doing the NFC East. And I really think this division isn't going to be the NFC least this season. And obviously, as stated in our previous episodes, we do it on a website called playoffpredictors.com. I'm sure Jack will leave it in the description. So please, if you want to do your own type of bracket, again, it's all 256 games, so you can make your own kind of record, see how your team does, see how other teams do in your division. We'll leave that link down below. So I think let's just get straight right into it. And actually, before we go into it, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for 200 subs. We set a goal about 20 days ago to hit it, and you guys really helped us out, so I really appreciate that. And obviously 300 on the way. We're going to get you as much content as we can with the season. Literally, at the time of this video, 10 days away, so I'm really, really excited. And I'm sure Jack and Shrikar are as well. So let's get started with the Dallas Cowboys. I'll let Shrikar start us off.
Well, the season kicks off on September 10th, and it feels like, with us being in school, it's just each day, it seems like such a long time, but really, it's almost here. So I'm really happy for that. But let's get into the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, Mike McCarthy, the new head coach in town. I have him going 10-6. I'm actually really optimistic about the Cowboys this year. I think I've expressed that a bunch during the offseason. I really like their draft. I think I like the moves they made, signing Everson Griffin most recently. I think they're a really complete roster. Of course, the secondary is in question. They might move Chidobe Awuzie to safety. We'll see how that works, but I think this offense is killer, especially with Mike McCarthy, and Kellen Moore is still calling the shots, so that's always good there. Mike Nolan, that's a new scheme on defense, and I think it's going to help too. So 10-6, I'm really believing in this team. I think the toughest games, they do play the Ravens. You do play the Seahawks. You make 2 West Coast trips. You play LA and Seattle. I think you play the entire NFC West and AFC North as part of that sort of interdivisional rotation. So, of course, the NFC West, the toughest division in the NFL. AFC North, it is pretty tough up there too. So I think even though you have the third easiest schedule, I think there are games that, where the Cowboys are going to have to prove themselves, because they went 4-4 at home, I'm pretty sure. And that was really the biggest kind of knock on their season, and the fact that they couldn't beat good teams. And I think McCarthy and the Cowboys, they just have a lot to prove. Will they step up? I think they will. 10-6 is my prediction.
Yeah, I think 10-6. I could see it if they win, one more game, because I've got them going 9-7. I think it's weird that they've got the third easiest schedule, because there are some hard games on here. Obviously, having to play Philly twice, having to play Baltimore, having to play the Browns, the Steelers, New Orleans. Oh, never mind. That's sneak peek to my playoff predictions. But they got to play Seattle and San Francisco. But I think that it's a tough schedule. But like you said, Mike McCarthy's there now. I think this is always up there every year for the most talented roster in the NFL. And I think the one thing holding them back every year was Jason Garrett. Obviously, he's gone now over to another NFC East team we'll talk about later in the Giants. But I think Mike McCarthy puts together the talent on this offense. I think that they had a great draft. They drafted 3 guys in the first 3 rounds that I had going first round of my mock draft that we did. And I think it was a killer draft. So I think this team puts their talent together. I've got them going 9-7. I think there's still some games they lose. And obviously, sometimes the talent doesn't come together, and they aren't great at beating good teams. But I've got them going 9-7, and that's good enough for a playoff spot for me.
Okay, so for all the Cowboys fans watching this, hopefully if Daffy is there, I apologize in advance. Look, it's not even like I'm an Eagles fan or whatever. Obviously, everyone knows how much I like Carson Wentz. But going back to the Cowboys here, it's hard for me to put it on paper that this team really is going to do that much better without Jason Garrett. And I know he was holding them back to some extent, but again, it's just I need to see it. And it's no knock on Dak Prescott. Obviously, I think there is some tension there, though. The contract wasn't done. He's literally the only, quote unquote, fundamental piece that hasn't gotten paid. Right, Jalen Smith's gotten it. Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, list goes on. So I think there's some dysfunction there. And look, I've got them winning the games that they should win. And the problem is there are some games though where I'm just up and down on. And it's funny because I have them going 8-5, and then I have them losing their final 3. And yes, I think the Giants pull off an upset week 17, and I'm like so tempted to put them in as the 7 seed. Jack knows this. I have like around 3 teams that fighting for that 7 seed, and I have them just missing out at 8-8. And it's not even a knock on this team. It's just the NFC is so loaded, and I just need to see it on like real life television before I can say, okay, this Cowboys team is really good, because they have the talent, they have the players, and they have everything in place. Again, it's just can you beat the Ravens? Can you beat the Eagles week 16 when you have to? I don't care if you're at home or the away. Now there's a little bit less on that. I know Dallas will have a little bit more fans than most teams, but still, can you do it? Can you get it done? And it's been a while since we've seen Dak Prescott, in the big scenario, right? Like a playoff game. But when he was there week 16, I know he had some shoulder struggles, but you have to get it done especially against the Eagles team that was as depleted as it was. So I still knock him for that. Obviously, I got him winning, the games that they should. I mean, I even have him beating my own team, the Browns. I think they make it close with the Ravens. I do got them splitting with Philly. I think they go 4-2 in the division. But again, I need to see it. 8-8 is not bad at all, but obviously I think they could easily go 9-7 or 10-6.
I think with the expectations. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, does Dak get a contract after 8-8?
No.
See, that's I think he's gonna be on another team by 2022.
Because 8-8, as I was gonna say, 8-8 is still disappointing for this team when you have such high expectations rolling into this year. So if Dak doesn't live up to it, then he's gone.
Very disappointing.
I don't know what to say.
I think a big X factor though is Trayvon Diggs, I think.
Trayvon Diggs, yep.
So you're coming around to Trayvon Diggs now.
No, yeah. I'm not saying he's good. He's good. I'm not saying he's going to be like elite or as high as Jack is on him, but I'm just saying he has to step up because obviously Byron Jones is gone. I believe they lost Jeff Heath too. So the secondary does have to step up.
I think I can agree. Here's the thing. Here's where I'm going to side with Anish, because there is just so much uncertainty with this Cowboys team, even as good as they are on paper. So, I mean, I think it's fair to think that way. But, Anish did apologize to Cowboys fans, and I want to apologize to Giants fans real quick because, dear Lord, I have your team doing absolutely terrible. 3-13 is my prediction for the Giants, man. And I really wanted to give them more games, but,
you're going to make me mad,
with a rookie head coach in Joe Judge, I don't know how it's going to work out there. The defense, I think it's still pretty questionable even after adding Logan Ryan. I mean, I do like the move of Jason Garrett to some extent, though, because I think that's really going to help Daniel Jones and that offense really flourish. But I think they fall anywhere between that 3-13 to 5-11 range.
Come on.
You have the 7th easiest schedule in the league, but look, the first 5 games, I think they're pretty tough. Chicago, the Rams, Cowboys, Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football. And then you got to play the Bucks in week 8. Yep, you got to play the Niners, Bucks in week 8, Monday Night Football. It's just – and then the final 2 games, you got to play Baltimore and then the finale at home versus the Cowboys. So – and I think Anish does have them upsetting. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because at that point, I think the Cowboys are going to be competing for an NFC East crown. So I think they're going to be going all out in that game. But – nothing really comes easy for the Giants, I guess. And I'm afraid we're just looking at another double-digit loss campaign. And maybe this is just the growing pains for Joe Judge and this team. But Giants fans, New York, Big Blue, very sorry. 3-13 is my prediction.
I'm not going to make y'all much happier. I've got them going 4-12.
Oh, gee.
So, yeah, all the Giants fans that may have been subscribed to us are out the door now. But I've said it before. I'm not a huge believer in Danny Dimes, as Anish likes to call him. I don't think that.
Look, here's the thing. I am a believer in Danny Dimes because I think Jason Garrett.
3-13 does not sound like you're a believer.
Okay,
keep going, Jack.
It's tough.
Give me time.
And then I think that the defense. Obviously, I think that the secondary gets a little bit better with the signing of Logan Ryan, but they won't have DeAndre Baker's help out there, stealing picks from quarterbacks.
That was the only thing he was stealing,
But they also lack talent, I think, at the safety position now with Xavier McKinney out. Jabril Peppers is good, but he's serviceable. He's not tremendous or anything. And Xavier McKinney going to miss a lot of the season. And then inside linebacker and outside linebacker for the pass rush is very weak. One of the weaker linebacker cores in the NFL, and they don't have a ton off the edge. They've got good defensive linemen, but they don't really scare me on a pass rush level. So I think that, and obviously the offensive line, they've added Andrew Thomas, but they're still not amazing. And so I think there's problems all over this team. And I wanted to give them more wins. I really did. But I only got them winning 4.
Okay. So I'm very mad at you two right now. But you know what? Here's the thing. For the Giants fans out there, I love this team. And, especially with it all starts with Danny Dimes. I'm a huge believer in this dude. I really think people are – criticizing him just because he was picked 6th overall. Okay, I get it. He's not, he may not ever fill those expectations, but I think he can. And I really believe in his game. I think if he polishes himself a little bit more, especially with the turnovers, I know Jack gets really mad at the fumbling, and I do too, but I think he can really polish his game like that. All rookie quarterbacks go through that type of phase. We've seen that with Eli. Obviously, Giants fans know what I'm talking about. And obviously with Peyton too, we've seen rookie quarterbacks struggle. What's there not to like? This dude is going to throw a lot, and I think this is a great year for him to develop. So I'm going to give my pick right away. I have him going 5-11, 6-10. I think I'll give him the bump. I'll give him 6-10, just because. And I think I tell this to Jack too. I think there are borderline teams. There's a good 5-11, and there's a bad 5-11, or like a good 6-10, a bad 6-10. I have this as like a good 6-10, preparing them for a future year, because it's 2020. I think there's a lot of weird things going on with this season. Really don't know what's going to happen. So I think this is a good prep for the future. Obviously, McKinney is very up and down this year because of that injury, but I think Peppers is very solid. And again, I think this is good, paving the way for the future. I think Solder's also playing right tackle, so let's see how that works. I think that's another interesting thing to watch out for. And again, Saquon Barkley, he is still there. You have to give him some credit, right? I think this is third year Saquon, and this is usually the year where running backs, have their best year. Third year is where they kind of escalate and become really good. We saw that with Christian McCaffrey last year. So I'm really expecting big things from Saquon Barkley this year, and I have them pulling off some upsets again. I think this is a team that, again, they spoil a little bit. I have them playing spoiler for the Cowboys, and I actually have them upsetting the Bucs Monday night. Those are the 2 big games I have for them. Otherwise, obviously, I have them starting off 0-5, but I think they win some games where it's like, okay, Danny Dimes pretty impressive, because I saw some of that last year, and I told that with Jack. Obviously, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I told him, for quarterbacks, if I see something very impressive, if I see some type of iconic moment, I will say, okay, that makes me believe that they can do something great later. And he had 2 games, Tampa Bay and I think Detroit, where he just lit it up. And that comeback against Tampa Bay was really convincing to me. So got him 6-10. I think they're looking good, and I think they're heading in an upward direction.
Yeah, so I think this team's on an upward trend, but I think another team is also on an upward trend in this division. That's Washington football team. And you're mentioning Daniel Jones. I believe that Dwayne Haskins, when it comes down to it, will have a better career than Daniel Jones. And I think that this year you could see Dwayne Haskins play better than Daniel Jones. And I really like the direction of Washington football team, as well as the name.
Wait, you're serious?
I'm dead serious.
I'm an Ohio State fan, bro. And even I'm laughing at that.
Trust me, it's not a popular opinion right now, and not after their rookie years, but I believe that Dwayne Haskins will have a better career than Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Go
ahead. Tell me what you see in this team. Tell me what you see.
Hey, keep the receipts, man.
Yep. Yeah. I'll make sure.
No, but then I think that this Washington team's they're on the incline, and I like where they're headed. I think they just grabbed a wide receiver 1 for years in Terry McLaurin. I think there's a chance they add a running back, like we talked about Leonard Fournette. Reports came out today about Alvin Kamara possibly being on the trade block. Mm-hmm. I like this offensive line, I think, a little bit more than I like the offensive line in New York. I think Dwayne Haskins could put it together. Obviously, we saw him improve towards the end of the year last year. And then this defense can be elite with that defensive line and the pass rush. There's a lot of things to like on this team. And I think that they're a little bit like the Raiders, where, obviously they don't have everything in place, but they've got pieces that if they put together, they could be really good.
So what's your record for them? Sorry,
my record's 5-11, so not so much better.
So a good 5-11.
I'll say a good 5-11. I think I've got them winning some good games. They're 2-4 in the division. I think that they steal a game from both New York and Dallas, and they get some wins over some lower teams. But I think that they're trending in the right direction for sure.
I agree with Jack. I have them going 5-11, and I kind of had to think to myself, what would look like a success this year for the Washington football team? Maybe it's doubling their win total, going 6-10. Dwayne Haskins proving that he's the quarterback of the future. Maybe we want to see McLaurin, Antonio Gandy-Golden, Antonio Gibson. Let's see what they can do. Can they carry this offense? But this team has promise. But I think 5-11 is pretty fair for them. It's just the Redskins. I don't expect them to put together a winning season at all. But I think fans at least want to see steps in the right direction. So a 5-11 season, it's not a major victory at all. But if Haskins can prove that he is the future, and if this team can make strides over this season, I think Washington's going to be back on the right track. And I think it is going to be a good 5-11. So Jack put it nicely. I'm not going to talk too much. Let's get right to Anish. I'm going with 5-11.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep this long either. I like the pieces that they have. Honestly, I mean, I've seen comparisons where it's like they could have a Niners type leap. I don't know if they do that. Yeah, I know Jack said that, but I don't know if they do that. I think they could potentially, but I think for the Washington football team, it's just how do you basically continue what you've been doing on defense, basically building around. I think Kerrigan now, he's a piece that it's not really a build around piece. I think Chase Young was a really good pick. Kendall Fuller was another great signing. But what I'm saying is I think it comes down to Dwayne Haskins. Can he really produce? Jimmy G wasn't asked to do much. Dwayne Haskins, a lot is up in the air, especially with their coaching staff. So I'm just going to give my record prediction out. I have them 4-12. And I don't know whether to say, it's an upward swing. I think it is because they've got a lot of young players there. But again, I thought Geis was a really good breakout candidate. Obviously, he's not there anymore. So we know what happened. But I got them beating some teams. I think the Panthers is a game I think they could upset them. I think they split with the Giants as well. I mean, there are some potential upsets that could happen with this team, but I just don't see it this year. Again, 2020, not a lot of things, that could favor a huge upward swing. So I think 4-12 is what I'm looking at here. But don't sleep on Terry McLaurin. I think he's going to establish himself as a top 15 receiver.
Do you want to start talking Philly?
Yes, let's do it. I'm excited for Philly. I'll go last. Go.
You go last. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I can go first. I've got Philly going 9-7, and while I have them and Dallas going 9-7, Philly's 5-1 in the division, which means they take the division crown for the second year in a row now. I think that Philly, this team is good. I think Carson Wentz is great. I think that their offensive line is amazing, but I think there's spots on this team that don't wow me at all. I think the wide receiver room, especially with, I think Rager with a preseason injury now, not exactly sure what to expect from him. The receiver room, not including tight ends, does not wow me at all. In fact, I think it's very underwhelming, as well as the linebacking core and even the secondary at times last year got burnt and it was one of the low spots really in the NFL. So I think that this team has some from very high spots, as in Carson Wentz, the coach, offensive line, defensive line. But then there's certain spots where I do not trust this team. So I've got them going 9-7, but they could shut me up and they can go 12-4, 11-5. I can totally see that.
So I actually have them going 11-5, as I see Anish just patiently waiting to speak. So I think the Eagles they're looking at a range of 9-7 through 11-5. I went with the more optimistic side. And I think that optimism is justified because I think Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson leading the way. Wentz really stepped up down the stretch last season. Peterson, he always has his team playing their best football late in the year. That defense, it's going to be respectable. I mean, Jim Schwartz has a good track record. So I can envision a scenario in which things go right for the Eagles. That new coaching staff, you got some new ideas. Wentz's passing numbers, I don't know if it's going to be MVP numbers, but I think they're going to be much better than last year, with more speed on the offense. That defense is going to become even better with Darius Slay and that pass rush. You got Fletcher, Javon Hargrave, Malik Jackson. And, if you can stay relatively healthy instead of being one of the most injured teams in the league again, I think the Eagles will be a great team in 2020. And I think this is the year that they prove they are an elite team in the NFC. And, taking that crown from the Cowboys, it's going to be much more difficult this year, I'd say. But look, I got the Eagles over the Cowboys at 11-5.
As you can tell, I've been smirking the entire time because I think this is probably the favorite pick that I wanted to talk about with these record predictions. Look, again, everyone knows how much I like Carson Wentz. I think I like him too much for my own good. But
you love him.
He is my favorite quarterback. And again, I will always say this. I regret the Browns trading that pick back in 2016. I'll forever regret it. But again, PFF just did a thing. I sent it to you guys too. Biggest throws, basically clutch throws in the fourth quarter. Who do they belong to, including the playoffs too, which the guy hasn't played in? It belongs to Carson Wentz. He, again, can't count him out in a game. And I've seen that throughout the regular season. Hopefully I can get that in the playoffs. And I think they win their final 3 games. And here's a kicker for you guys. I think they beat the Niners and the Ravens in the same season. I think they upset both of them. Yeah. Yes, I really do think that. I do have them slipping a little bit, losing 3 in a row to the Seahawks, Packers, and the Saints. But I do have them beating the Niners and the Ravens. I think they do it. And I really, really like this team. Again, I think Carson Wentz gets weapons back. I think Miles Sanders becomes an elite threat out the backfield. I'm not going to spoil my award predictions. Let's just say he's going to be in there. And I really like Carson Wentz going into next year. And I have him 11-5, same as Streetcar. Could bump him up to 12-4, but I went a little bit. I stopped myself. I said 11-5. I think they win this division, clear cut. And I really like this team going into the playoffs. I will say that because, again, that 2017 run, I think the team rallied around Nick Foles. Now that he's gone, they're a couple years removed from him. I think they'll rally around Carson Wentz. I think he's a true leader. Nikhil Roby-Coleman said it best. Carson Wentz knows his guys in and out. He knows that, I think it's a very underrated fact. I think you guys might laugh at me, but he knows everyone's first and last name. I think that's an underrated aspect. Quarterback knowing his entire teammates, right? He knows there is ride or dies, and I think that's great for chemistry. And their schedule it's up and down, but I think they can win some games again like they shouldn't. Again, the Niners and the Ravens, I think they really can pull it off. I'm really high on the Eagles this year. Please, please prove me right. I got a couple bets on this. So Carson Wentz proved me right. 11-5. And let's just say he does something that a lot of people aren't thinking about right now in terms of awards.
I just want to see a full healthy season from him. I want to see him fully healthy through the regular season and playoffs.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's see.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We're going to try and crank all of these out before the season, which as of right now starts in 10 days. We want to thank you guys so much for helping us hit our subscriber goal and help making our dreams come true. And we're going to keep grinding. And during the season, you're going to get a lot of content. We can't wait to put all that out for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching this one. Let us know what you have.
Quick note. Stay tuned for giveaways and other stuff.
Yeah, you better keep your eyes up. We got some stuff.
The other stuff is great.
Yeah. But, yeah, let us know what you guys have each NFC East team going down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.